waiting for. Please welcome the Pelbros Podcast.
Thank you, everyone. Please sit down. I know you guys have all been waiting for this day, but it has finally come. It is another Pelbros episode. Tuning in here, as always, Ryan DW and co-host Mr.
What up, James on the line here? How's it going?
Man, I've obviously got a smile on my face, as so do you, right? Because of the news that's just come in it.
Yeah, 100%. The NBA being back finally. So the round of applause. I think round of applause is necessary.
Yeah. Let's do it. Round of applause and at the same time, a moment of silence. That's the moment done.
Yeah, obviously, while the NBA and basketball might not be the focus at the moment, some good news coming out that they've all agreed finally for the NBA to come back and restart. And obviously, the tentative date they're looking at the moment is July the 31st. So finally, some sport and some content for us. We've been kind of dry, I guess you could say.
Hey, I ain't been dry. Maybe speak for yourself, mate. But
oh, you sure about that?
Yeah,
I don't know if you've got a story time this week, but
continue.
Nah, so obviously with the news that the NBA looking to come back, they're going to bring all teams to Orlando and finish off the rest of the season. So it would be interesting to see what's going to happen. There's a few, new rules that we'll touch on in a second. Some new criterias. Unfortunately, not all 30 teams are going to be there. So say bye to some of the lower seeded teams. I guess you guys never really had a chance in the first place. But the NBA planning to bring back 22 teams. That includes, the teams that are sitting around 9th, 10th, 11th, depending on their record. And those 22 teams will essentially play 8 more games of the regular season. So they've kind of got a schedule planned out. They don't have the exact official schedule released, but everyone's kind of made has created the schedule based on the games that are remaining throughout the season. And those 22 teams will play those 8 games, and eventually, they'll figure out the top 8 seeds who will eventually play in a playoff series. And fortunately, I don't think anything about the playoffs is going to change. It's still going to be best of 7. I think there were a few discussions previously that it'd be shortened down, which we said that it wouldn't even be worth it. I think they were discussing, best of 5s, best of 3s or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the news of the 22 teams, that's obviously good for the Pelicans, right? So, did you want to kind of comment on that?
On the Pelicans, there's not much to comment for myself in terms of obviously we're going to be getting that. I don't know if we're even going to get sit on the 9th seed, man. I think we're just going to get the 8th seed. If anything, we're going to be defending the 8th seed in the play-in tournament. That's how I see it, man.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And so obviously with the new rules, all teams play 8 games, and then whoever sits in the top 7 seeds go through to the playoffs straight away. So that fortunately leaves a battle between the 8th seed and the 9th seed. So the new rule being that if you're in the 9th seed and you're within 4 games of the 8th seed, you actually go into a play-in tournament versus that 8th seed to see who actually wins that last 8th seed spot. So, better for us at the moment. I think we're sitting just outside of that 8th seed. So obviously Memphis are there at the moment. So that news obviously benefits us. But hopefully, like Ryan has mentioned, if we do play those 8 games, that will actually be in the 8th seed rather than, having to do this play-in tournament or having to chase that 8th seed team. It'd be so why don't we just dive into our schedule, obviously.
Hey, before we dive into all that, man, we haven't even we've been out of the rhythm for so long. Obviously this is episode 12. Just very, very quickly I want to plug our shit. Pelbros, obviously you listen to us, Google it. You can find us on anything you want to listen to. Watch us on YouTube, Pelbros, just Pelbros Podcast, and obviously Instagram if you want to be seeing the real Pelicans content out there. Pelbros, that's just at Pelbros on Instagram. It's quite fucking straightforward. But yeah, man. Apart from that, before we even get too deep into everything like that, I was gonna say, yeah. Wait, you mentioned that it's gonna be held. Is it gonna be held in Disney World or in Orlando? Do you know?
Yeah, it's in Orlando. So I don't know. I don't remember if it was Disney World or Disneyland. One of those. One of those.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the same.
Disney World. Disney World.
Yeah, Disney World. Yeah, but it's gonna actually be there, right? Not just gonna be Orlando, like home court or something like that, right?
No, so I believe it's actually in Disney World. So the idea being that
Oh wow.
the idea being that it's like essentially a bubble, right? You bring all these teams in, so
Yeah.
that the fact that they can isolate, the fact that they can stay in this, I guess, quarantine bubble essentially, without people coming in or people coming out, and it keeps everyone kind of having to prevent teams from having to fly around, having to go through different courts, arenas. So it actually makes quite a bit of sense.
Yeah. That'd be quite funny because, like, obviously there's no crowds allowed, right? But when you're watching the game, you'll see like maybe the odd, like Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, like what do you call it? In the background, like the mascot and shit like that, and the kiss cam comes on. Yo, Mickey Mouse getting wild, bro.
Yeah, I mean, just to take a note out of what's happening in Australia at the moment, because obviously we're from Sydney. So with the sport coming back on, the rugby league over here, they've actually, I mean, this is just for the meantime. They've just put cardboard cutouts of fans.
Oh, that what?
Yeah,
Actually,
so you can actually. So I'm not sure whether it costs. I think it does. So I kind of question who would be willing to pay for it. But what they've done in some of the games is the fans, I guess, send in a picture and then the teams print out a cardboard cutout and
Wait,
stick them in the
what?
stands. So
what? They put a picture of themselves so they could like see themselves maybe on the TV. That hey, look, I can see myself barely, but I'm there.
yeah,
Is that
I
how
guess
they do
so.
it?
I think that's the point of it. But ironically, it seems to work and people seem to be all on it. I'm guessing for the members, it might be a different story. Maybe for the members who've paid for, the season pass and stuff like that,
Yeah.
they probably get it for free. But I think it also, you can pay for it individually, but I wouldn't do that. But most people have put a picture of themselves. There was some controversy where someone put a picture of some serial killer and then like no one
I put a picture of Osama bin Laden.
no one vetted it. No one
Yeah.
like checked it, and then that ended up going through. But I mean, that was one of the things that they did. So I'm not sure if the NBA would take a note out of their book. That could be something that they decided to do.
Yeah, because on top of that too, like weren't they considering adding in NBA 2K crowd noises, which you were saying, the NRL, which is the Australian Rugby League, like they, what do you call it? Like they do that shit, right? Like they're using fake crowd noises, or
Yeah,
is
so
it just fake crowds?
At the moment, they're doing fake crowd noises in the broadcast. So while you're watching, obviously you can see it. No one's in the stands, or you see these cardboard cutouts, but you do hear the crowd noises. So personally, I don't like it at all. I think it's kind of stupid, and it does. You just know that there's no crowd, right? Like you're watching it, there's no crowd. And personally, I just find it so much more interesting to hear the players talk. You hear quite a lot of cuss words.
I'd love to hear like, yo, what you doing here, nigga? Yo, this is street ball, homie.
Yeah,
Like,
you hear a lot of swearing,
shut the fuck out of here, homie.
especially in the rugby league. Australians aren't too scared of cussing.
Oh yeah.
And then also the best part is you just get to hear the players smash into each other. So I actually prefer it. I mean, the basketball might be a bit different because you're going to hear 90% squeaking of the shoes.
Yeah,
but I'd love
true.
to hear players calling out plays, calling defenses, calling reads. I think that part of it is so underrated. But I mean,
True.
I could see the NBA putting on some 2K BS noises. I think it'd be ridiculous. But I imagine from a broadcaster's point of view, they're probably thinking about the atmosphere and stuff like that. They don't really care about, letting people hear the crowd. The game noises. They actually just care about like how it appears in terms of a broadcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say like all of this shit, like the NRL kind of situation too, especially the extremes of the entire cardboard cutout, which I wasn't aware of. Holy shit! Like all this shit, and like and obviously the 2K, like not 2K, the NBA trying to like follow suit, not necessarily the cardboard cutouts, but with the noises, right? All of this shit just shows how much of like monkeys we all are. You know what I mean? Like we're all like, so conditioned. Oh, they're like, I need these different kinds of stimulation to enjoy this game of basketball, this game of sport. You get what I'm trying to say? Like they're adding these obviously fake stimulants to it, so that because for our entertainment, because we've been so conditioned that we need those kind of things. It's like if anything, I just feel not even like monkey. It's just more so like holy shit. Like how fucking stupid are all of us really that we need to that they actually consider this option. I don't know. That's quite funny in my part.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's probably from a broadcaster point of view, from all those media companies and broadcasters that they want to create that atmosphere. But I mean, I get what you're saying because look at even like a regular basketball game, right? When you go to a basketball game just to watch the basketball, and you're gonna get, like you said, kiss cams. You're gonna get them shooting shirts up into the stands. you're gonna get
true,
halftime
true,
shows
true.
of the chick on the unicycle kicking the ball onto her head and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that Asian one.
Yeah, there's chair stacking. There's all these different things, right? So it's this constant idea of the stimulus, or I guess engagement, right? They're thinking about how can we keep not only the people that are there engaged and the viewers at home, but obviously all those antics throughout the halftime and stuff. That's obviously for the members in the arena. But I guess for them, it's like a need to fill in that dead space or that dead noise, right? Like if there's no basketball, there's no sounds, there's no swish noises. They're gonna be like, yep, we need to pump music, we need to pump all these ridiculous kind of stimulus, like you said.
Shit, I was gonna say that before we get more into everything. The last thing I want to touch on this is that I didn't think about this, but shit, doesn't that mean? Would this not mean that we don't get any Joel Meyer like commentating and shit? Then you reckon?
No, we should. Oh, actually, yeah. Like, because it's gonna be like someone else commentating.
Whoever's
Is what you're
there,
saying.
right? It might just be all ESPN.
Yeah, you're right.
broadcast
You're
and-
right.
that's gonna be so bad. Fuck.
Yeah, I forgot about
That's
that.
gonna be so shit. That's gonna be so shit. Imagine that. It's just all ESPN broadcast. Like I used to have Doris Burke there. You know, like obviously, you know, it's nothing about she's a female or a male. She's just the only ESPN fucking broadcaster that's actually halfway decent. Everyone else is just such an aids to listen to, especially when it's dealing with like Pelicans. They're just always like, oh, this. And if they want to talk about James Harden, oh my god, like I don't want to even mention that. But you get what I'm trying to say, like that. If anything, don't worry about the crowd noises. Let's get some decent commentators on there, right? Fucking hell.
Yeah, personally, I'm not even a fan of Doris Burke myself. So I mean, the only commentators I would like out of that are not Joel Myers and Antonio Daniels at the moment would be probably like Mike Breen and some of the playoff guys who. But I mean, we'll see them throughout the playoffs. So as long as I don't have to hear guys like Mark Jackson, Reggie Miller and stuff like that, I'll be pretty happy.
Yeah, but I guess that's the kind of last of all this fake crowd noise business, right? Yeah, we can get more into this entire kind of situation, this NBA starting, right? So what was it again? 22 teams, right? 22 teams fighting against each other.
Yeah, so 22 teams with the
battling it out,
aiming for July the 31st, and obviously
and it goes all the way through until October something, right? October like 20th, 22nd, I think it was.
Yeah, I don't know the exact date, but all teams would be playing 8 games, so I'm not sure how long that would take. Probably take 2-3 weeks already in itself. And then, like I said, the top 7 teams go through straight to the playoffs, like how it would be regularly. But the contention is between the 8th and the 9th seed. So if the 9th seed is within 4 games of the 8th seed, so let's say the 8th seed is 40 wins, and the 9th seed is 37, then those 2 teams would have to battle it out in a best of 2 play-in series to determine who actually rightfully deserves the 8th seed. And I think the point here being is that obviously you're not going to get a complete undisrupted regular season. So the idea here being that, you're giving everyone a fair chance. Reality to me probably is that the NBA just is thinking about how they can make enough revenue and make more money, milk as much money out of the teams as possible. Okay, Zion and everything that he would bring if he
could make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. If the Pelicans were in the playoffs, and obviously if more teams were in the playoffs. I mean, I'm not complaining because that makes it easier for us or better for us, but that's probably what they're thinking about.
Yeah, and also just to 100% too. In the East, it's everyone that's already in the AFC plus the Wizards.
Yep.
As in this 22 team fucking format thing, and in the West, it's everyone apart from. At first, I was just like, oh, it's everyone apart from Golden State Warriors. But then I was with my mate when I found out about the news, and I was like, wait, that doesn't add up. There should be one more team in the West that's missing. I was like, wait, which one is it? And I was like, oh yeah, shit, Minnesota. So what? You know what I mean? Obviously, given the current situation it is right now, I have a theory. Maybe people aren't really protesting about whatever's going on right now. What if it's just because, it's just like a decoy for the fact that Minnesota ain't making the fucking playoffs again? You know what I'm trying to say? I'm just trying to say, Karl Anthony Towns, bro, step up your game, son. Well, this was this motherfucker saying at the beginning of the season or last season. I think it was Kendrick Perkins was calling him out, but I'm still gonna be sleeping on the Minnesota, and then they win 2 games or something like that, and then they're like, oh yeah, what's going on? And then Kendrick's like, yo, I still got the AC on, I'm chilling, I'm relaxed, and what's going on? Now Minnesota ain't even invited to this 22 team kind of thing, so that's quite interesting. But yeah, I just wanted to give a little stab to Minnesota because I mean, you have your opinion on Karl Anthony Towns, but I'm just like I don't know. I just don't like his face, to be honest. So that's my
Like,
that's my two
look, that's not even important,
cents.
man. The man's been through some shit this year. So, I mean,
Hey, we've all been through some shit, homie.
I mean, his situation's worse. I'll tell you that. I mean,
What, the mom dying from coronavirus?
yeah,
and
dude.
shit.
Um,
That's the game, son. That's the game, son.
but obviously, yeah, Minnesota's been way much more than caring about the playoffs, to be honest. And I think,
Hey,
yeah,
that's what they want you to believe.
let's
Let's
be real.
That's what they want
They
you to
wouldn't have
believe.
known. They would have known they didn't have a chance anyway. So,
Yeah.
what's the point? But yeah, let's not even worry about them. So, looking at the Pelicans' schedule for the next 8 games, obviously, we would only be playing teams that we haven't finished the remaining games against them throughout the season. So, for example, if we've already played Portland 4 times, we wouldn't play them, 2 or 3 more times. It doesn't make any sense. So, looking at the remaining games, you'd only play teams that you haven't played. So, for us, maybe I'll just quickly go down the list of our next 8 games. So, this isn't
But you should you should tell them it's not official though.
yeah, it's not official,
Yeah.
but I guess people have made up those lists already because it should be pretty obvious based on that criteria and the teams remaining. So for the Pelicans, we've got in order the Kings, unofficially, Jazz, Clippers, Spurs, Grizzlies, and then we play the Kings and the Grizzlies again, and then finally rounding it off with the Magic. So I think,
It's easy money.
yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
I just told you that shit is easy money, son. What Kings? I mean, we versed the Kings 2 times. I reckon. I reckon we can finish off the Kings. Jazz is a maybe, but Jazz we should get, to be honest. Just because we're more hungry. Clippers, we can lose the Clippers. I don't mind that. Spurs is the risky one. Spurs is red hot. Memphis is fucking easy. Magic, fucking easy money. That's how I see it. So yeah, I see winning majority of them, if not all of them, to be honest.
Yeah, so I think most people, when they saw the schedule, or at least Pelicans fans, they're pretty happy with it. Seems like these are teams that we've beaten throughout the season already, except, ironically, the Spurs and actually the Magic, because we actually lost to them early in the season. But it looks like all teams that we can beat. So obviously, like you said, we've beaten the Kings in the past. The Jazz, we're 1-2 for them this season, but
it should be the other way. It should be 2-1. It's just, you know what I mean. Like, remember the
we've had
refs
a few
fucking
BS
around?
calls in separate games against them. So obviously that game's going to be pretty even. But like you said, I think we're just going to be more hungry at the time. And then the Clippers, keep my expectations realistic, but I think it's possible. But again, who knows what a healthy Kawhi and healthy Paul George is going to do. So I'm looking at that, and I'm predicting we can win 6 out of the 8 games. When I look at it straight, I don't think we'll take all of them.
Losing to who? Like, what about Spurs, Grizzlies? Like, you didn't finish off the thing.
For me, I think we'll be losing to Clippers and the Spurs.
Oi, but that's the thing, man. If we give up a game to the Spurs could creep in for that playoff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Any team can creep in, but we've shown that we just can't beat them at the moment. We just don't have what it seems to beat them. And the last game.
I reckon we can. The last game, we could have won that if we didn't have to take Zion off the court.
Oh, you mean the one where he debuted?
Yeah, when he debuted, right?
Yeah, potentially. I mean,
obviously what if and shit, but still.
Yeah, a lot of what ifs, but that game was pretty frustrating. I know we had no chance of stopping a bloody old LaMarcus Aldridge. Quite frustrating of a game, but yeah, look, I'll be realistic. That's just what I think in terms of what we can get. Minimum 6 wins, 8 out of the 8, and that would put us out of 30. A 34 game winning record. So we'd potentially need. We would need Memphis to potentially drop a few games, and some of the other teams. So obviously Portland, Sacramento, and Phoenix, like you said, are all part of that mix. So if any of them, jump above us or close to us, and are close to the Memphis Grizzlies' current record, then who knows who's going to be in that playing tournament.
I was going to say, and with that though, we obviously versed the Memphis Grizzlies 2 times, as well as the Kings 2 times too, and. I mean, if anything, like Grizzlies, that's easy money. That's a clean sweep going our way, right? Kings is the one that's a bit more of like, who knows? But I reckon that's still going to be like a sweep too. I reckon. So as in with that, I'm saying like out of the 8 games that both the Kings and the Grizzlies have to face, we're going to verse them 2 times. So if they're going to lose 2 times to us, and we are predicting for our own record 6-8, 6 out of 8 wins, them versing us, they're already going to lose 2 times. They're already going to be on 6. So they're already going to lose another 1 or 2 here. So, I could predict those guys maybe going anywhere from like 4 to 5. Let me actually look at that very quickly. Memphis, who's Memphis got to verse?
Yeah,
Memphis has got to verse Blazers, Jazz, Spurs, Thunder, Bucks, Pelicans, Celtics. Back to back with the Pelicans. Let me get a shout out. All right, so Memphis versus the Blazers, I think that's up in the air. Versus Jazz, I reckon Jazz takes that. Spurs is a very questionable one, and then Thunder, OKC will shit on Memphis, I reckon. Bucks is just gonna be a clean sweep. Then it's us eating their money and Celtics eating their money too. So Memphis has a pretty shit schedule.
Yeah, so this is obviously going back to even pre-COVID when they actually had one of the hardest schedules. So that actually reflects in these 8 that they're going to verse. So again, all top tier playoff teams except the Spurs and us, and obviously the Pelicans. But yeah, they do have a kind of tougher looking matchup. And then the same thing with Portland. They've probably got a relatively tough assignment as well. So I'll just quickly go through them again.
Yeah.
They're playing the Grizzlies, Rockets, Mavs, 76ers, Celtics, Nets, Lakers, and then the Heat or the Magic. So yeah, again, I think probably 5 or 6 out of those teams are top tier playoff teams that are already in those top 7. So I mean, if you're looking at the strength of schedule, like it was,
they're going to lose the majority of those games.
Yeah, if you're looking at the strength of schedule pre-COVID, Pelicans had one of the easier ones just because we had a tougher start to the season, and that's reflecting now in the schedule that we're seeing at the moment. So fingers crossed, but for myself, I'm confident that we can get 6 of 8, and hopefully the other 2 teams or other 4 teams drop a few games.
Yeah, I just want to go through like Sacramento and Spurs too, because if anything, I mean, maybe we may as well do a bit of shout out to Phoenix Suns, but just as like participation award. But if anything, out of like what I said to you before, man, I reckon if anyone is like the real danger to get into that 8th spot, apart from us, it's like San Antonio Spurs, man. Like I'm never gonna be fucking sleeping on the Spurs, especially was it 22 year fucking like playoff streak. And fucking, you got Pop and all that shit. And, they're a hard matchup in general, man. I'm not going to put my eyes against the Spurs. But I still reckon we'll get in just to usher in that new era, too. Anyways, though, Sacramento Kings, because obviously we're versing Sac Kings 2 times. They're versing the Pelicans, the Nets. So versus the Nets, I reckon... Well, what do you reckon versus the Nets? Obviously, there's no... would there be Kyrie or what?
So Kyrie and KD are both not playing, so they've both.
Okay, so both are not going to be playing.
Yeah.
Even still, with like they if you could argue they do fucking better without Kyrie. What do you reckon? Like Kings versus Nets, that's kind of up in the air. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's hard to decide. I feel like I can't put one team over the other one.
Yeah.
But man, if I had to pick, then I think I'll pick the Kings just because they'll be missing Kyrie and KD, obviously.
Yeah, fair. And then Mavericks, Rockets, I think that's easy. Like, that's like they're going to lose those games, Sacramento Kings. And then Orlando Magic, they could probably get that. Why not? I don't know how they match up with them, but, it's a low seeding Eastern team. Pelicans, that's who we come in to take another from you guys. Pacers, I don't know how they match up with the Pacers, but yeah, I'll put that in the air. And then Spurs is fucking Spurs at the end. So out of like just looking at that, right? If they were to lose to Mavs and Rockets, that's already going to be like 2 games they've dropped. And even if we beat them just like once, that's like 3 games they've dropped. So they're already at like 5. So you know what I mean? Either way, like from just like giving them benefit of the doubt, we're still going to have a better schedule than them, I reckon. No, sorry, like a better record than them. The last one I want to just... I mean, we can quickly go through Phoenix Suns, but the main one is San Antonio Spurs. Because this is the dangerous one. I'm like, shit, I don't want these guys to like fucking come anywhere near us. All right. So Spurs are versing the Nuggets. Then after Nuggets, the Grizzlies, Pelicans, back to back with the Jazz, Nuggets again, Kings, 76ers. They got a fucking tough.
That's what I'm saying. I look at all the teams that around us. They definitely got just on paper tougher schedules than we do. So, and that's how it should be because our strength of schedule was tough in the start of the season, so it should be for the rest of the season, and it's reflecting here. And so I mean, like you said, the Spurs are a powerhouse. The 22-year playoff streak can never kind of discount them. But goddamn, look at that schedule. The Nuggets
Yeah, that's
twice
actually a bad schedule,
and the
man.
Jazz
Jazz
twice. Man,
back to back Jazz.
those sound like they're just gonna be like grueling games that they have to both teams have to kind of tough it out. For me, I think the only minor concerns I have is I don't know how I guess like resting and like that stuff comes into play. I'm not sure if teams that are locked into the playoffs are gonna be needing to rest or they're gonna actually be trying to go for higher seeds. So I don't know if that will change things because obviously right now there's no home court advantage, so that's less incentive for you to get a better seed. So there's gonna be, I feel like there's gonna be a few factors that might, who knows, maybe some Nuggets teams or even like teams like Bucks, teams like Lakers, they start to rest a few players. So I mean, on paper the schedules definitely look tough, but who knows what happens when it comes to the rosters.
Yeah, and just the very, very last one, because they are part of the teams, Phoenix Suns, going to be versing Mavericks. So lose Pacers, I don't know about that. Clippers, that's like pumped. Mavericks again, 76ers, Wizards, Heat, Thunder. Yeah, that is not looking good for Phoenix Suns. Why even invite these guys, really?
Yeah, I mean,
we're just going to invite them just... I guess it's kind of the same thing I was talking about Solomon Hill. You need someone there to just like take the piss, you know what I mean? Like to bully. You need that person in the group that needs to like take the shit in the group chat or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like on that note, now that we've kind of wrapped up our thoughts and like you said, why even invite the Phoenix Suns? The Portland Trailblazers didn't want to. They
got beef.
They were the only team out of all the teams that voted against the 22 team format, and before everyone kind of starts to pitchfork the Trailblazers, they actually were opting for a 20 team format. So that would have actually left out the Phoenix Suns and the Wizards, which, to be fair, sounds all right. Because I mean, like you said, why even invite the Phoenix Suns? Why even invite the Wizards? The Wizards don't have.
Hey. If anything, bro, I'm rooting for the Wizards in the East, man. Like, I'm like,
Nah, man.
Rui Hachimura, we got Bradley Beal, son. Yo, what else you need, son? That's game. That's like, okay, because I didn't bring this up before, but just very, very briefly, I want to mention this. I'm going for Washington Wizards to get into the playoffs. You know what I mean? I want them to get into the playoffs. That's just my 2 cents with them. And then when John Wall is back next season, they're gonna be you know what I mean? You're gonna fucking forget about this shit talking we've been doing for the last 2 years. You're gonna remember. You're gonna recognize
they won't,
who the real Wizards are here.
No, the Wizards have a 24-40 record.
Hey,
they're already 6 games. They're already
cool.
6 games behind Orlando, man. It's not even close.
Cool.
But
that's cool.
I mean, I'm happy to sleep on them. I'm happy to sleep.
I'm looking at their schedule and it's not looking that great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Celtics, Thunder, 76ers, Nets, Bucks, Celtics, Suns, Bucks.
Yo, I'm telling you, why even invite them?
Yeah, okay. After reading the schedule, though, yeah, okay. Sorry, guys.
Yo.
Like, I got mad love for you guys, but come on, why you invite?
No, I'm gonna say I like Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal. I thought you should have been an all-star, but y'all can take an early vacation. Seriously.
Yeah, just rest, my G. It is true. Yeah, shit. I didn't look at Nick because if we're talking about the schedules that they actually got to deal with, and if it was like get rid of Wizards and get rid of what is it, Phoenix Suns, then I can see where they're coming from. But obviously, because there's that excuse, but then the other excuse I saw was something about how these games in Orlando don't count towards the upcoming draft lottery.
Yep.
So they were talking about how this is gonna fuck it up or something. I don't fucking know, whatever. But as much as I would like to give praise for this suggestion, like yeah, true. Why the fuck are we inviting Washington Wizards and why the fuck are we inviting Phoenix Suns? I guess ratings or some shit. But as much as all that shit, I'd like to still say yeah, I know why. It's because Portland Trailblazers are a bunch of bitches. That's why. That's why they're like, oh no, we want less competition.
Yeah, so obviously that makes Portland look like a bunch of what you can say pansies, that they don't want to play as many teams. But look, to be fair, for their reasoning, I guess, was that now that gives the chance for other playoff teams, to actually have, the Washington Wizards and the Suns on their schedule, whereas Portland have already played both of those teams throughout the season. They've already, I think, beaten them. So now they're kind of saying, well, why do other teams like let me see if I can name any of these teams. Why would who the Suns playing? Oh man, well they're not.
Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, well they're not really playing any other teams that would affect. But I mean, they're basically saying, yeah, why now the other playoff teams have two weaker teams like the Suns and the Wizards on their schedule, kind of giving them the advantage, I guess. So
Okay, yeah, I get what you mean. Like, because we've like I don't know if we've I guess yeah, it's exactly what you said though. That argument would be valid if it was just like, okay, Phoenix Suns versus Pelicans for like 4 games.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. But the only people that they're competing with, the only people that are there that are competing for a playoff is the fucking Washington Wizards, like Phoenix Suns or wise. So yeah, that's it. That argument itself is invalid, really. But we can kind of agree to disagree. Like, if you want to have that fucking thing, sure, I can see where you're coming from, but okay, like, not really. Yeah, that's how I see it. But anyways, should we, like, as we're giving, since we're giving such a non-partisan, aka non-biased, view on the entire Portland situation, is it alright to, like, shit on them a bit now? Because we were just giving them a bit of, like, praising and shit, but this is the Pelbros, bro. This is, like, against my character. This is against my soul, my being.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, like you said, we've already 4-0'd them, so we can just rub some salt in the wound.
We 4-0'd them too when they were a stronger team. What was that guy get? Nokic or something, right? Before he was injured and shit.
Yeah, so not only 4-0'd them this season, but also 4-0'd them 2 seasons ago in the playoffs. So.
Oh, as in we have. Sorry, that's what you meant. We 4-0'd them this season in terms of the season, season swept them. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
feel free, unleash on them.
Yeah, all right. I'm gonna let you guys start because I want to do this with style. I got a cigarette out. I got a diary. I'm gonna quickly light it up.
Yeah. So, for us, there's not much more you can say. That's apart from rubbing salt in the wound. So obviously, it kind of sucks that they're above us in the stands. But like you said, we've 4-0'd them this season. Drew's in Dame's head.
Easy money.
Can never kind of pop off or play well against Drew's stifling defense. And like the teams have changed. Like you said, last year they made it to the finals, and it was all kind of unexpected.
The Western Conference final.
Yeah, sorry, the Western Conference final. It was
big.
I guess you could say unexpected, or teams weren't expecting them to make it into that final series. But yeah, Pelicans have just we're their kryptonite, and we 4-0'd them. There's not much more you can say.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, like, even still, that entire Western Conference finalist shit last season, bro. Like, you may have fooled everyone else with Damian Lillard, but you ain't fucking fool me, bro. That's like okay. So just to get an analogy from boxing, right? It's kind of like in boxing. Let's say I'm the heavyweight champion of the world, right? And then I'm like, okay, fuck this. I retire or something happens, and then pretty much the belt is vacant now, right? So like anyone, it's up for grabs from anyone. So now there's 2 people that fight to get that title, right? And then that person gets the title. That's how Anthony Joshua got his belts. If anyone knows who that is. Anyways, though, what we call that in boxing is a paper champ. You know what I mean? You didn't actually fucking earn that. You know what I mean? You didn't beat the man to get the title. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, you were gifted that almost by the establishment. So how I see that with how that relates to this entire situation of what's called Damian Lillard and Portland Trailblazers last season is that who do they even fucking verse, right, to get there? They versed, okay, sure, we could say OKC with what's called Russell Westbrook, and what's called Paul George, right? Sure, but like I said just then, fucking Westbrook, bro, fucking, obviously the motherfucker's gonna choke. Obviously the motherfucker's gonna fuck it all up. So that's not necessarily such a huge achievement. Oh, but obviously he did the quote unquote game winner and wave goodbye and shit. Oh, bro, he's such a bad man. Da, da, da. Yeah, bro. Fucking, why don't you do that same shit to Drew Holiday, cunt? I fucking dare you to fucking try to make that move, motherfucker. Fucking going 0 for 11 from 3 or some shit like that. Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm trying to say? Anyways, it's that. And then after that, we got, what do you call it? Then after that, they versus Denver Nuggets. Like, bro, Denver Nuggets, what? Like, I really don't like how Denver Nuggets is in the playoffs, because there was that season where they didn't make the playoffs, and then we did, I think 2 seasons ago, and then ever since then they've been full try harding to get into the playoffs. Like, don't get me wrong, they're probably a decent season team, but in the playoffs they're fucking so shit. Like, I'm never gonna expect the Denver Nuggets to be Western Conference final or even go to the fucking finals. Why the fuck are you even here? You know what I mean? Put someone like Sacramento Kings, it'll be more interesting. You know what I'm trying to say? So so they just beat those two series to get to Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, in which they got completely fucking swept. So, my kind of thing about it is that Portland is a bit overrated in that regard. And so, and if anything, all this fucking hype has just been helping Damian Lillard with his entire fucking trying to get downloads on his rapping career bullshit. That's my 2 cents when it comes to Portland, man.
Fair enough. I imagine most Pelicans share that sentiment. No, sorry, Pelicans fans. So, yeah, I mean, not much more to say for that one. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing. I had to lie to Dari specifically because I'm celebrating the NBA is returning, and B, because if I'm gonna have to talk some shit on Damian Lillard, like give me a second, like let me catch my breath here, let me gather my thoughts. So that's why I was like, I let you go in, and then I came in I let you do the alley oop, and then I came in with like the fucking. Pretty much, I feel as if, like you said, it's already putting salt on the wound, the 4-0 wound, but bro, I feel as if it just needs to be done. Like people need to know their place. If you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I imagine they do.
Yeah.
But anyways, obviously,
we still got time, or what's the situation?
Yeah, we can wrap it up. Well, we can sort of wrap it up. With your last thoughts. Just the last thing I kind of wanted to say is, obviously with this season going all the way down to October, like you said, and I think that's when. I think the tentative date here at the moment is October 12th would be Game 7 of the NBA Finals. If you look at it realistically, that actually would have been the time when the next season should have started. So obviously with this season being postponed or delayed till July the 31st start, that obviously have implications of the next season start. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen. On this article that I'm looking at, they've got December the 1st as the opening night for 2021 season. So that only gives teams about 2 months break, especially if they make it to the finals. So it'll be interesting to see what the implications are there. But yeah, hopefully with that start of the season, there'll be some moves. There'll be obviously the draft. There'll be some players coming back from injury. KD, Clay, Kyrie, John Wall, stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens. But just really quickly, the one last thing I want to ask you is, there's been some discussions about whether this season's NBA champion will have an asterisk against it. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I guess it all depends how this entire experiment turns out, right? I feel as if somewhat, if it's it depends who wins, really. If it's Kawhi, it's not going to be an asterisk. If it's Anthony Davis and LeBron, which is I don't think it's going to happen, then a huge asterisk. And if it's someone like the Bucks, which I don't fucking see happening at all, too, then it's gonna be an asterisk, I reckon.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
What do you think?
I mean, I've seen a lot of pages or basketball fans kind of say that there shouldn't be an asterisk. And while I kind of agree, the champions are still the champions. There's no denying that this was a disrupted season, right? There's no denying that things went differently. So, I don't think that should kind of harm the winner, or they're still going to have a championship trophy against their organization, and that's fine. But let's be honest, it wasn't a regular season. Anyone who thinks it was, they're just kind of joking themselves. So yeah, in the end, I don't think there should be, or I wouldn't want them to kind of be criticized for winning this season or kind of invalidating it. But at the same time, realistically, yeah, I think people are going to put an asterisk on it.
Yeah, but then again, wasn't it a few? I can't remember. Did Spurs win that one when then there was where they had
the lockout
suspended season or something? Yeah, the lockout thing.
Yeah, the lockout season. I don't remember who won that one, but yeah, I mean, like you said, there have been previous seasons where it hasn't been the full 82 games. So
yeah, no, I do agree with you. I guess in that sense, in terms of I mean. I guess what I was trying to say though, it all depends on, not necessarily the experiment, but just more so who, if there's people that got clear advantages over the current break that we've had in between here, the mid-season or whatever kind of break that we had, right? If there's people that have clearly gained from it,
yep,
then you can kind of see it a bit. But then again, it's everyone should have had that opportunity to gain from it too. So, I mean,
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah,
I think you raise a really good point. When you flip that on its head, everyone had the same disadvantages. So it's not like one or
yeah,
two states didn't have coronavirus, which meant that players could, still train, still go to the gym. It turns out everyone was affected. So all, 50 states or whatever it is, or 30 teams. It's a question of whether, does Zion come back, 20 kilograms heavier or something. Just saying. And I hope not. But hopefully our guys stayed fit. Hopefully they trained. Hopefully they stayed healthy. And they'll come back stronger than ever.
yeah. The best advantage of it all, though, too, because of Pelicans and shit, is exactly what we had mentioned at the very, very beginning of this entire coronavirus break. The best news of all, JJ Redick's going to be back, son. So, that's easy money. Like, we were trying to squeeze into the 8th seed without JJ, right? And we're probably going to get there. And now we've got JJ Redick. Son, it's game. It's easy. It's like, consider it done. Consider it fucking done, bro.
Yeah, boy.
We're going to be made in the playoffs.
Keeping that streak alive. 13 playoff runs in a row. Got to keep it alive.
Oh, right. For our boy, what's his face?
JJ, yeah.
JJ. That is true. And yeah, but I guess that pretty much sums up all our thoughts when it comes to the NBA resuming. I'm actually just saying that. I'm like, oh shit, sinking in. NBA is actually fucking coming back, dude. We're actually gonna have weekly content. We're actually gonna have maybe even more than weekly content now, right?
Yeah, I can't wait. So hyped for it. I mean, July 31 still 2 months away. Still a while away. Yeah. So definitely the anticipation is going to be building, and hopefully during that time, we'll start keeping up. We'll still be putting out content throughout the next 2 months, and kind of hyping up for the season to begin again.
Yeah, because going off of that too, the sickest part too is like, I'm never going to have this again. Like, I'm actually going to have NBA during my birthday, right? Which is, I'm not going to tell exactly, but let's just say it's August/September, right? So during that time, there's going to be fucking NBA playing, which is fucking sick. And we may have a special episode later, which usually happens around October, November period anyway. Because me and you, usually on a yearly basis, we head to a certain location, right?
Yeah, well, it'll be...
That could be interesting, watching the finals there or something. But I don't know. That could be a bit too early though. October 12th. Who knows? We'll work on the dates later.
Yeah, sounds good. But definitely lots of excitement to come.
Yeah, man. Wait, so let me just quickly. So 7th until October. So from we pretty much get the whole of August. So 8, 9, 10. We get 3.5 months worth of NBA. That's pretty fucking decent, dude.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Obviously, it might depend on if the playoff series all go to 7 or how long they go for in terms of the games, and that might drag it out a bit more. So, can't wait for the next 3-4 months.
Yeah, fucking keen, dude. I guess that pretty much actually does sum up our final thoughts, right?
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, obviously we got this entire 3 months, three and a half or so months worth of NBA content. So the best way you can actually get all this content is to be following us on Instagram if you have Instagram at Pelbros, and if not, even if you do or you don't, whatever, you should be sussing us out for everything else. Pelbros on Google. You can find us on any kind of listening platform you desire for the podcast episodes. And we actually, if anything, we have already been dishing out some bonus content on the YouTube side of things. But if anything, we're going to even have more of an emphasis on that. So highly recommend you guys check us out on YouTube, Pelbros Podcast on YouTube. It's a very easy search. You search it, you find us. You can subscribe, do what you want to do, but make sure that you hit us up. And I forgot the most important of them all, pelbrospodcast at gmail.com for any inquiries, hate mail, feedback, etc., etc. But yeah, man, I guess that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. Summed it up pretty well.
That's what I do, son. So who knows? I may or may not actually be seeing you in person. The first time in how long now, right? 2-3 months or some shit?
Yeah, pretty much. We're coming out of our own coronavirus lockdown.
In Sydney.
Things finally opening back up. So, yeah, I mean, we'll just have to see if a certain person replies, and then, maybe I'll see you tonight.
Yeah, true. I could be seeing you tonight. Tonight, maybe in a couple of hours time. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. But yeah, man.
Thanks for listening. Yeah, just to wrap it up. Thanks for listening. If you managed to listen to this and keeping up with us, Pelbros checking out.
Yeah, laters.